Hello everyone, and welcome back. Today we're diving deep into one of the most legendary sea monsters ever imagined, the Kraken. You've probably heard of it in myths, movies, or pirate stories. A gigantic, tentacled beast lurking in the darkest parts of the ocean, ready to drag ships and sailors into the depths. But here's the question: what if the Kraken was real? What would it mean for our oceans, our ships, and even our survival at sea? Stick with me because the answers might surprise you. And don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel so you won't miss any of our upcoming videos with even more fascinating topics. To begin, let's look at where the legend came from. The Kraken myth originated in Scandinavian folklore hundreds of years ago. Sailors reported seeing massive creatures rising from the water, their enormous arms wrapping around ships, pulling them under. These tales grew with each telling, and soon the Kraken became a symbol of the unknown dangers hidden beneath the waves. But were these just stories? Or could they have been inspired by real animals, like giant squids, which can grow longer than a school bus and live deep in the ocean where light barely reaches? Now, imagine for a moment that the Kraken wasn't just a legend, but a real creature living in our oceans today. If it existed, it would completely change how we think about traveling across the seas. Modern cargo ships, cruise liners, and even naval fleets could all be at risk. A single Kraken attack could sink massive vessels in minutes, causing enormous economic losses and endangering thousands of lives. Shipping routes would need to be redrawn, with many areas of the ocean declared too dangerous to cross. Coastal cities would also feel the impact. Imagine ports like New York, Singapore, or Rotterdam shutting down because of frequent Kraken sightings. Global trade could collapse, since 90% of goods we use everyday travel by sea. Prices for food, fuel, and technology would skyrocket. And let's not forget the fear factor. Tourists would avoid ocean cruises. Fishermen might refuse to sail, and entire coastal communities could be abandoned. The ocean, which already hides so many mysteries, would become a place of terror, where every shadow beneath the waves might mean a monster is waiting. If the Kraken truly existed, humanity's first response would likely come from science. Marine biologists, oceanographers, and zoologists would scramble to study this colossal predator. But how do you even research a creature that could grow to 30 or even 50 meters in length, with tentacles strong enough to crush steel? Scientists might send unmanned submarines, drones, or even satellites to track its movements, hoping to understand its behavior. Some would argue that the Kraken should be preserved as part of Earth's biodiversity, while others would see it as a direct threat to humanity's survival. At the same time, militaries across the globe would prepare for confrontation. Imagine navies designing specialized anti-Kraken weapons, harpoon-like torpedoes, underwater nets made from titanium, or sonic cannons meant to disorient the beast. Warships would travel in groups for safety, like herds of animals trying to protect each other from a predator. But there would always be the terrifying possibility that the Kraken could adapt, becoming even harder to fight over time. Beyond the battlefield, society itself would transform. Myths would suddenly become reality, forcing us to rethink our understanding of the natural world. Religions and cultures that once told stories about sea monsters would see their legends validated. Entire industries could emerge around Kraken-proof technologies, from reinforced ships to coastal defense systems. News networks would broadcast 24/7 coverage of Kraken sightings, and social media would explode with videos of its massive tentacles rising from the depths. For ordinary people, this would mean living with a constant awareness of the ocean's danger. Swimming at the beach, taking a ferry, or even flying over the sea would carry a new fear. What if the Kraken strikes? Humanity's relationship with the ocean would never be the same again. If the Kraken were real, it wouldn't just threaten ships and humans, it would completely reshape ocean ecosystems. Imagine a predator so large that it could swallow whales, giant squids, and even sharks whole. The balance of marine life would shift dramatically. For example, whales play a key role in regulating the carbon cycle by diving deep and bringing nutrients to the surface. If the Kraken began preying heavily on them, the ripple effects could alter entire food chains, affecting everything from plankton to fish populations. Smaller predators like sharks or orcas might start avoiding areas where the Kraken roams, leaving those ecosystems without their natural top hunters. This could lead to overpopulation of mid-sized fish and a decline in biodiversity. On the other hand, scavengers like crabs, seabirds, and smaller fish might thrive on the leftovers of Kraken kills, creating strange new ecological opportunities. Fisheries and coastal communities would also feel the impact. If the Kraken hunted in areas rich with tuna, salmon, or cod, commercial fishing could collapse, leading to food shortages and economic crises. Scientists might even suggest setting up Kraken reserves, designated parts of the ocean left untouched by human activity to keep both us and the monster safe. But would a creature of such power really respect human borders? There's also the psychological effect on humanity itself. Knowing that somewhere in the deep there lurks an unstoppable beast would likely reignite our primal fear of the unknown. The Kraken would become a living symbol of the ocean's mystery and danger, a reminder that no matter how advanced we are, there are still forces of nature far beyond our control. Picture this: a modern cargo ship loaded with thousands of containers, crossing a quiet stretch of the Atlantic. The crew enjoys calm seas, unaware of what lurks beneath. Suddenly, the ocean begins to bubble and swirl, as if boiling from below. The ship shakes violently, and out of the deep, enormous tentacles, each as thick as a subway train, rise into the air, dripping with seawater. The crew scrambles, some grabbing radios to send distress calls, others frozen in shock. The first tentacle slams onto the deck, crushing steel containers like soda cans. Another coils around the hull, squeezing with unimaginable force, groaning metal echoing across the waves. The ship tilts dangerously as alarms blare, and cargo falls into the churning water below. Helicopters and rescue teams would be dispatched, but what can human machines really do against a monster the size of a skyscraper? Torpedoes, missiles, even naval fleets might struggle against its thick hide and sheer strength. Unlike whales or sharks, the Kraken could dive back into the abyss, leaving almost no trace, except for destroyed vessels and terrified survivors. The world would watch footage of such an encounter on the news and social media, sparking mass hysteria. Shipping routes might close, oil tankers would be rerouted, and governments would pour billions into studying, tracking, or even trying to kill the beast. But could something born of legends truly be destroyed by human weapons? Or would it become an unstoppable guardian of the deep, reminding us that the ocean is not ours to tame? If the Kraken were real, humanity would face a difficult choice: fight it, fear it, or find a way to live alongside it. At first, panic would dominate. Navies from around the world would mobilize, deploying submarines, sonar buoys, and deep-sea weapons to hunt the beast. Scientists would race to understand its biology, how it survives at such crushing depths, how it grows so enormous, and whether there are more of its kind lurking in the abyss. But eventually, questions would shift. What if the Kraken isn't just a monster, but a vital part of the ocean's ecosystem, a creature that has survived in secret for millions of years. If we tried to destroy it, could we upset a balance we don't even understand? Some might argue that the Kraken should be studied, protected, maybe even worshipped, as ancient sailors once did. Imagine entire industries built around tracking its movements, tourists paying fortunes to glimpse it from afar, documentaries capturing its eerie majesty. And yet, the fear would never fully fade. Every time a storm struck or a ship went missing, people would whisper, "The Kraken has awoken again." For humanity, it would be a reminder that no matter how advanced we become, the ocean still holds mysteries and powers beyond our control. So what if the Kraken was real? It wouldn't just be a monster. It would be a living legend, reshaping how we see the seas, and perhaps teaching us a little humility in the face of nature's greatest secrets.